24 hours later, and it's still a very beautiful sight to see. The Ravens and Ronnie Stanley are in agreement on a 3-year, $60 million extension with $44 million guaranteed at the signing per source. The news broke yesterday. I covered it yesterday. But today on Ravens Rundown, we're going to break down how truly phenomenal the Ronnie Stanley extension really is. Okay, we're going to talk about just how special it is that Eric DeCosta was able to pull this off and right in the nick of time, right before NFL free agency as well. If you guys haven't already, make sure you join us today because the Stanley news broke on Twitter yesterday, 4:39 p.m. We had a video up on YouTube at 5:10 p.m. And that was with me getting back to the car, driving back home because I was on a walk with my wife and my dog, so that could have even been even quicker if I was already at the apartment. But I wasn't. Still, 31 minutes, not bad. That's exactly why you subscribe. Because when breaking news happens, no matter where I am, no matter what I'm doing, I'm getting you a video as quickly as possible. If you haven't joined us already, it's free to do so. We get the best coverage right here on YouTube, so hit that subscribe button. So let's talk about why this deal was so special. I got 4 reasons for you. Number 1, we're going to start with this one, is he was coveted. And what I mean by that is he was easily the top left tackle available in free agency, and I heard multiple rumors on multiple teams being incredibly interested, most notably, the Kansas City Chiefs. Nate Taylor, their guy who writes for The Athletic, said this on March 5th, so 4 days ago. New story, Joe Thuney did everything the Chiefs asked of him and more. What's next for the Chiefs? They plan to sign Trey Smith to an extension and acquire new left tackle targeting Ronnie Stanley. Nate Taylor went on to say in his Athletic article, when free agency begins, the Chiefs will target Ronnie Stanley, the 9-year veteran who is the best left tackle available on the market. According to sources, Stanley, who will turn 31 this month, started all 17 games last season for the Baltimore Ravens. Okay, so multiple teams were interested. And we'll talk a little bit more about the money aspect about it in just a little bit, but a lot of those teams had a good bit more money than the Baltimore Ravens did, but Ronnie at the end of the day chose to stay in Baltimore. This was a choice he made. He wanted to be here. He made it very obvious. He signed 3 years, $20 million. I'm convinced he could have gotten more if he went elsewhere, but no, he wanted to be here, and he made that known yesterday. He had a quote saying, "I just know how much fun playing on an offense like this is, and I'll always choose winning over money any day." Ladies and gentlemen, that fires me up, and it should fire you up as well. Okay, it's obvious that the culture that has been built here, whether you like John Harbaugh or not, anytime a player takes less money to stay at a place is special. Look at what Myles Garrett just did. $40 million to stay on the Browns. Ronnie Stanley doesn't care about the money. He cares about winning, and he knows he can do that in Baltimore. So what's your one-word reaction to the Stanley extension? Let me know in the comment section down below. Mine, I think, is pumped. You let me know yours. Number 2, we talked about it a little bit already, but it's the money aspect of it all. It is truly so special to me that they were able to make this deal happen, $60 million, $44 million guaranteed, with the money situation that Baltimore's in right now and the situation that other teams that were targeting Ronnie Stanley were in, okay? And these aren't just made-up rumors, right? These are legit, credible sources. This one from New England Sports Fellow tweeting out this morning, report the Patriots as well as the Chiefs and Commanders were poised to make a move on offensive tackle Ronnie Stanley before the Ravens re-signed him per Albert Breer. Looks like the Patriots were all in on getting the best available offensive tackle. Do you guys really think the best available tackle in the entire NFL free agency market would only get $20 million a year? Because I don't personally. I really, really don't. And when you look at the cap space for 2 of the other teams mentioned in his signing, compared to where the Ravens are, 125 mil, 93 mil, that's a lot of money. In fact, that's number 1 and number 2 in the National Football League in cap space. And then where are the Ravens? Oh, they're at 11.67 million. Okay? New England, Washington, they had all the money in the world. They could just money whip Ronnie Stanley as much as they wanted. They could put a price tag on him that Baltimore could not even touch. But they didn't, because Ronnie Stanley made it known he wanted to stay right where he was. Make sure you guys lock us in, okay? Because coming up, this week is going to be nuts, okay? We're going to have a ton of breaking news that happens. I'll be right here all week long getting you guys updates as quickly as I can. So make sure you're as updated as you can be. Number one, subscribe. Hit that sub button. Number two, hit that little bell button. Make sure you got your notifications on. That way when we post a video, you get notified. You can watch it as quickly as you can. Lock us in right now. Coming up on the show, we got some more special reasons. Okay, 2 more reasons I think the Ronnie Stanley deal yesterday is so special for the Baltimore Ravens and what it means going forward into 2025. But before that, do you guys know what you should be going forward with in 2025? This t-shirt right here, okay, because it is 33% off. And I can't tell you how good of a deal that is. It was $30. Now it's just $20. And let me tell you, I went to the mall yesterday with my wife and tried to do a little bit of shopping, and everything is so expensive now, okay? Especially if you want some sports memorabilia. Well, now you can find this for just $20, okay? Chatsports.com/Ravens t-shirt. If you go to that link, get the shirt there. It helps us out right here on the channel. We get a little bit of those proceeds. Really appreciate you guys for doing that. So if you guys want a little bit of swag going into summer, you know, sleeves are coming off. It's getting a little bit warmer. Chatsports.com/Ravens t-shirt. That link will be in the comments and description of today's video. Number 3, it was so special because you need to take a look at the current free agent market in terms of tackles. Because you got to realize, you don't sign Ronnie Stanley, you probably move Roger Rosengarten to left tackle, but then that leaves an opening at right tackle. And I don't know about you guys, I don't feel that great of putting Patrick McCarty at that right tackle position. I think he could have been fine, but in my opinion, if you're going for Super Bowls, fine isn't good enough in terms of your tackles. And you look at who's still available in the free agent tackle market, it's not great, Jim. Cam Robinson's probably your number 1 available player, maybe Dan Moore Jr., and then you got a really old Tyron Smith, a really old Morgan Moses, right? I know everybody loves his time in Baltimore. That wouldn't be that bad of a person to bring back, but still, Jedrick Wills Jr., every single one of those guys is a massive step down from where Ronnie Stanley is. In my opinion, that makes this deal even more impressive. Because let's go back to the money aspect of it all, because that's where this all surrounds, right? Money. That's where free agency starts and where it ends. How much are these guys getting paid? And when you see that left tackle, right tackle, whatever, that tackle market in free agency, and you see those guys available, Ronnie Stanley is better than every single one of those guys, and it's not even close. And you were able to get him for $20 million? $20 million a year? And that is what was left? Every single one of those guys, second best option being Cam Robinson, and another team they weren't able to outbid you because you locked him up. He chose your team. He chose the Baltimore Ravens and $20 million a year and winning, staying with that team, staying in that culture over taking a little bit more, 23, 24, maybe even $25 million a year, and not really knowing where that team's going to go. Very, very impressive, ladies and gentlemen. Grade the extension for me. A, B, C, D, or F in the comment section down below. I'm giving this one an A. It's not even close. Play teacher for me. Get your red pens out. Give me a grade, A, B, C, D, or F. And then number 4, why this deal is so special is because you got to look at the draft pick, okay? You got to think about where Baltimore's picking in this upcoming 2025 NFL draft. If they were selecting in the top 10, top 15, I would say, you know what? Might be willing to let Ronnie walk, take a really good tackle in the top end of the draft, and then, maybe go sign a defensive player in free agency. But that's just not reality because the Ravens are picking at number 27 overall. And I know there's some good tackles in this draft, but I feel like you're probably going to be reaching at pick number 27 for a guy who's probably a day 2 draft pick. Okay, in my opinion, if tackles, most of the time, now Roger Rosengarten was an outlier in this metric, but in my opinion, most of the time, if a tackle goes outside of the top 15, I don't have a ton of confidence in him being an all-pro one day, okay? And if you look at the offensive tackle rankings due to Mel Kiper's OT draft rankings board, Will Campbell, Kelvin Banks Jr., Josh Simmons, those guys probably going to be gone by then. Mimbu, the guy from Mizzou who's climbing up draft boards, I expect him to be gone by then as well. Josh Connolly Jr. might be gone at then as well, okay? And even still, if he gets to 27, I don't know how excited I'd be at that pick. So I would rather pick defense, sign Ronnie Stanley, than not sign Ronnie Stanley and reach for an offensive tackle. Okay, I think that position is very, very top-heavy in this next upcoming draft. And you got a better chance at getting a good edge late than you do getting a good tackle. Ronnie walking, I think at the end of the day, Eric DeCosta decided that it's not better for your Super Bowl hopes, right? I know that sounds easy to say. I know that sounds pretty simple. But Eric DeCosta, I think through the entirety of their negotiation process, him and John Harbaugh looked at each other. And they said, if we want to compete for Super Bowls, if we want to take that next step from these past 2 years where we've fallen short into 2025, into this next season, then letting your left tackle walk away, it's not a step forward, rather it's a step backward. And I know that the contract, the deal, probably means this team's not going to do much more in free agency. I get that. I'm not that mad about it. I think they're looking at this team of last year and they're saying, you know what, let's just run this back. Let's just run it back. Sure, maybe they can make a move or two. Let's get better in the draft. But ultimately, they've got confidence in the team that they had last year, and Ronnie Stanley was a massive part of that. Thanks so much for watching, every single one of you guys. Appreciate you guys for making it all the way to the end. That truly does help us out so much. If you're still here, it's obvious you like the video. It's obvious you like the channel. Do the next step. Hit that sub button. Join us for the best week of coverage right here on the Ravens Rundown.